Greetings, YouTube, and I apologize if I sneeze during this video. I had my eyes dilated today, and I am light sensitive as it is, and that has been setting off my light sensitivity. And when I get to a certain level of light sensitivity, I sneeze. 25% of the population does. I was thinking about multiverses, partly because of the new Doctor Strange movie, which just came out at the time of this filming. It was 2 weeks ago, I think. I haven't seen it yet. I'll wait till I can see it for free on Disney+. And multiverses are cool. Now, the idea of multiverses in physics is something that's always fascinated me. And from a personal level, I love the idea of the multiverse. I really, really do. That there is a near infinite number of universes where I am in different varieties, different versions. Now, lots of those universes don't have me in them at all. I mean, I'm the subset of James universes is small compared to the overall set of all possible universes. But in the subset of James universes, some of them I am doing better. In some words, I'm doing worse. In some words, I didn't make it this far. I did suffer actively from suicidal urges between 12 and 30, and it has never left my mind. The lingering thought of suicide has never left my head. And in all likelihood, I fully believe that I will die by my own hands. Honestly, it's a bad thing because I don't necessarily think that suicide itself is anything to be ashamed of. My grandfather killed himself, and I don't judge him for it. He was in a spot where he didn't have really a whole lot of options in his view. He was alone, second bout of cancer, wouldn't take his antidepressants. Yeah. That's what happened. And if I get to a certain point where I can't keep going, yeah, that makes sense to me. I don't want to become a burden on the world. So in some of those worlds, I don't exist. And lots of them I do. Now, I don't know where I am in those. Am I the mean? Am I the nominal James? And there are Jameses that are worse and Jameses that are better. Who knows? It's a pleasant thought sometimes to think that, maybe there are better Jameses out there doing better than I am at the moment. And I feel great sympathy for those that aren't. But as a part of physics, it's bugged me a little, because as we have a better and better understanding of the underlying structure of the universe, I think one of the pervading concepts that has become more and more evident to everybody is that it is elegant. It is simple. And eventually, when we have a theory of everything, where we'll be able to pull in the weak force and the strong force and electromagnetic force and gravity and cram them all into one theory, I'm sure it is going to be a beautiful thing of elegance and symmetry. We are going to marvel at it the way we marvel at a great work of art. So the multiverse theory doesn't seem elegant to me. It seems wasteful and sloppy and a Mickey Mouse solution to something we don't understand. Does it answer questions? Yes. Is it the answer? I don't think so. Remember, at one time we thought heat was transferred by a thermal fluid. Boy, were we wrong. But multiverses as fictional narratives are awesome, and I love them. I love alternative universe concepts. The series Sliders was awesome for the first season. Yeah, but the first season was great. And, of course, they're popular in any franchise that lasts any time at all, and comic books have been using them for as long as I can remember. I would be interesting. When's the first time a multi-universe concept was thrown into a comic book? Anybody know that? It'd be interesting to find out. And of course, Marvel has really baked that into their system, as has Star Trek. Though Star Trek, there's so many possible universes, and they always have just the evil universe or the Nazis one, or they're so damn boring. And DC did that with the Flash. I never finished the Flash series. I really wanted to because. Well, I started getting bored in season 2 because it was so soap opera-y. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was far less of that, and it was so much better. The ZC stuff is just so saccharine. It just bugs the crap out of me in many ways. It's like a soap opera in a way that the Marvel stuff just didn't feel that way. And because I want Grodd, I really want Grodd. I love Grodd. Grodd's awesome. That's why I was interested in Flash to begin with. But they did the Nazis one universe kind of thing. So you end up with Nazi versions of supers, metahumans, and things like that. But I step back for a second. So now, in this universe, the one we're standing in, the multi-universe theory exists. There is the Nazis take all the territory they wanted to take and hold it. So they get France, they get the Scandinavian countries, they are controlling, Poland and Russia, and all those territories are theirs. Of course, it's going to collapse. The Nazis were not a well-structured government. Just like the Soviets collapsed, the Nazis will eventually collapse. But they will be able to hold it for probably decades, we'll say, in this thing. Okay? Cool. Awesome. That is not the same, the Nazis one universe, as the Marvel universe. Because there are metahumans in the Marvel universe. And it's not the same, the Nazis one universe, as the DC universe. Because there are different metahumans in the DC universe. The DC universe and the Marvel universe are separate. But both of them could have, or do have, the Nazis one alternate reality. So we're not tuning into the same one. There's not an the Nazis one, or Reichstar. The role-playing game. The Nazis one. The fascists take over the entire planet and then begin to spread themselves across the galaxy. It's a really depressing game, I should point out. But that's not the same as the DC or the Marvel or the Star Trek. They're all separate the Nazis one universes. So you not only have this incredibly clever plethora of multiverses in our universe, you have the same thing in the Marvel universe, you have the same thing in the DC universe, they have the same thing in the Star Trek universe, the same thing in the Whovian universe. Every single narrative structure has its own pantheon of multiverses. There is a multiplicity of multiverses. That fascinates me. What would it do if somebody were to able to pull them together so that we were always tuned into the same ones? But how do we explain that some of the universes have magic, some have metahumans, some have both, some are, could we do it? Could you create one overarching narrative pantheon of multiverses that all come into the same version of each one? Now, they did that with Amalgam Comics, where they blended in DC and Marvel characters. And somebody did a timeline of meshing those two, and they did an excellent job of it. I read it once. I don't know if I saved a copy of it or not. But it was a timeline where they kind of showed how that you could bring the two together and have them become one cohesive arc over time. Or is what I'm discussing just too damn complex? And is it needlessly complex? Is it pointless? Is it just more fun to have all the Marvel ones be their own thing and all the DC being their own thing and all the Star Trek to be their own thing, even if Star Trek writers seem to be completely unaware of the fact that there's more than like two friggin' alternate universes? Not to mention we have Dungeons and Dragons, when there's all the different prime material planes and all their planets and things and their structures, their weird worlds that don't have the same, their worlds, systems where the planet's at the center and the sun revolves it, or toroid-shaped planets, or inside, you're on the inside surface of a sphere, or what have you. All those weird worlds, they're their own thing as well. Each setting is its own thing, and each setting has its own weird varieties of things. But we do seem to like multiverses, don't we? We seem to be really fond of them. So let's talk about multiverses. Let's talk about the multiverse, a multiplicity of multiverse madness.